Have you ever wondered how South Africa became the nation it is today? The story is a long and often tragic one, filled with epic clashes, immense wealth, and the systematic dispossession of its original peoples. Let's travel back to where it all began. In 1652, the Dutch East India Company sent Jan van Riebeeck to establish a small refreshment station at the Cape. This wasn't meant to be a colony. But what started as a simple stop for ships on their way to Asia quickly spiraled into something much larger. The local Khoikhoi and San people, collectively known as the Khoisan, initially traded with the newcomers. But soon, conflicts over land and cattle erupted. The Dutch settlers, with their superior firepower, began expanding. For the Khoisan, this was catastrophic. They were pushed off their ancestral lands, lost their herds, and were devastated by smallpox epidemics brought by the Europeans, to which they had no immunity. Their traditional way of life was shattered. Fast forward to 1806. The British, a new global superpower, seized control of the Cape from the Dutch. Driven by a hunger for more land, British settlers began pushing eastward, right into the territory of the powerful Xhosa people. This ignited a century of brutal conflict known as the Frontier Wars. The Xhosa fought fiercely to defend their land, but the pressure was relentless. In a moment of absolute desperation in 1857, a prophecy led to the tragic cattle-killing movement. The belief was that if the Xhosa sacrificed their cattle and crops, their ancestors would rise and drive the British into the sea. Instead, it resulted in a devastating famine that killed tens of thousands and ultimately broke the back of Xhosa resistance. While the British expanded along the coast, a different drama was unfolding in the interior. Many Dutch-speaking settlers, known as Boers or Voortrekkers, were deeply unhappy with British rule, particularly their anti-slavery policies. So they embarked on a mass migration inland called the Great Trek. This journey led them directly into conflict with the various groups that had been displaced during a period of chaos known as the Mfecane, or the Crushing. At the heart of this region was the formidable Zulu kingdom, forged by the legendary military strategist Shaka Zulu. The Voortrekkers and the Zulus clashed in a series of brutal battles, most famously the Battle of Blood River in 1838, where a small group of Voortrekkers defeated a massive Zulu army, an event that would become a cornerstone of Afrikaner nationalism. Just when it seemed the conflicts couldn't get more intense, everything changed. In the late 1800s, the largest deposits of diamonds and then gold in the world were discovered in South Africa. This mineral revolution transformed the region overnight. The hunger for land was now a ravenous hunger for labor to work the mines. This put the still independent Zulu kingdom directly in the British Empire's crosshairs. In 1879, the British invaded, sparking the Anglo-Zulu War. Despite suffering one of their most humiliating colonial defeats at the Battle of Isandlwana, where a Zulu force annihilated their camp, the British Army's technological advantage was too great. Within months, the Zulu capital was burned and their kingdom was dismantled. The final pieces of the colonial puzzle fell into place in 1910 with the creation of the Union of South Africa, a self-governing dominion that united the British and Boer territories under white rule. The black majority was almost entirely excluded from political power. Just 3 years later, in 1913, the government passed the Natives' Land Act. This single piece of legislation was one of the most devastating acts of the colonial era. It legally restricted black Africans, who made up over 2/3 of the population, from owning land outside of designated reserves, which amounted to just 7% of the country. This act effectively stripped millions of their right to the land, destroyed independent black farming, and created a massive pool of cheap labor for the mines and farms owned by whites. It was the legal foundation upon which the entire system of apartheid would later be built. From the first Dutch ships to the Land Act of 1913, the colonization of South Africa was a relentless process of conquest and dispossession. But it was also a story of incredible resistance, resilience, and the enduring spirit of people fighting for their freedom, a struggle that would continue for another 80 years until the dawn of democracy in 1994. The echoes of this history still shape the country today. Thanks for watching. If you found this history fascinating, Be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. See you next time.